This is Nigeria Today on TVC News. We'll begin with this cheering news from the Transmission Company of Nigeria, which says it has restored the national grid, which collapsed on Wednesday. TCN, in a statement by the General Manager, Ndidimba, said the national grid experienced system disturbance at about 11 a.m. on Wednesday due to a sudden drop, which created system instability. Mezamba said the drop pulled out other grid-connected units in the plant, resulting in an aggregated generation loss of 457 megawatts. While appreciating the understanding of government and consumers of electricity within and outside the country, TCN General Manager said the Nigerian electricity supply industry is committed to leveraging the concerted interventions instituted thus far to enhance power supply reliability. Now to insecurity, where the recent attacks by terrorists seem to be getting further attention of government. Now, to nip the worsening situation in the bud, the National Security Council says it will consider a nationwide restriction and distribution of motorcycles as a means of cutting off their sources of funding. But that was the outcome of the meeting which President Muhammadu Buhari presided over at the State House in Abuja. While addressing State House correspondents afterwards, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, said investigations are still ongoing, especially to establish the correlation between mining and motorcycles, which they suspect provide funding for the supply of arms to terrorists. Mr. Malami, who noted that terrorists had moved from the conventional ways of funding their activities to mining and ransom taking, disclosed the government was not unaware of the economic consequences of the proposed resolutions, particularly the motorcycle ban, but it has become imperative in order to guarantee the nation's security. Officials of the Gombe State Police Command are now enforcing the ban on spy and covered number plates. A team of about 40 police personnel patrolled the state capital, recovering several spy plates and enlightening the public. TVC News' Lanre Adeyemi was with the police team and has details.
The order by the Inspector General of Police banning the use of SPY plate numbers came a few days after the jailbreak at Kuje in the FCT. The SPY plate numbers often guarantee the occupant quick pass through security checkpoints. Mobilized and strategic, men of the Gombe State Police Command patrolled, enforcing the order of their chief.
The directive of the Commissioner of Police to ensure the enforcement of the ban on the police spy number, and those people who believe covering of their plate number is something to brag about, we should seize it also from them. And it is a successful one, which is going to be a continuous process.
One after another, SPY and covered plate numbers were removed as the police explained the new directive to motorists. The enforcement operation also served the dual purpose of reassuring residents of their safety and showing the preparedness of security operatives to respond to emerging threats.
The Commissioner of Police is doing everything possible to ensure there is no breakdown of law and order in any part of the state.
Men and officers of the Gombe State Police Command are out en masse to enforce the instructions of the Inspector General of Police that all SPY and covered plate numbers be withdrawn. The enforcement of this order does not only reinforce that the instructions of the IG would be executed, but also reinforces the security and safety of the people of Gombe State. Lanre Adeyemi, TVC News, Gombe.
Elsewhere, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has secured the conviction of 2 persons arraigned on 1-count charge each for the contravention of provisions of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act 2011. The convicted persons were arraigned alongside other persons for failing to submit declarations of activities in line with extant regulations on customer identification and rendition of returns on transactions to the Special Control Unit against Money Laundering, SCOMO. While delivering judgment, Justice Ahmad Mahmoud of the Federal High Court, Sokoto, convicted and sentenced Aminu Shahabi to 5 years imprisonment or payment of fine of 125,000 naira after pleading guilty to the charge.
The defendants despite sensitization, despite several visits, by the operators of the commission to ensure that they comply with the instant laws and provision of the money laundering and other regulations regulating the activities as designated non-financial institutions. But they were adamant, they failed to do so, and that is why they are charged before the court, and the court have done justice by convicting them. At least that will serve as a deterrent to all others who are still in contravention of the provision of the Money Laundering Act. The first defendant was sentenced to 5 years imprisonment or to pay a fine of 125,000 naira, and the second defendant was also sentenced to pay a fine of 125,000 naira.
Let's turn attention to Ogun State, where the area command of the Nigeria Customs Service has seized goods worth 3.4 billion naira between the months of January and June 2022. The comptroller, Bamidele Makinde, spoke in Abeokuta while reeling out the achievements of the command in the last 6 months. Kazim Olowe reports.
It was a success story for the men of Nigerian Customs Service Ogun 1 Area Command, with a record of more than 400% increase from what was recorded in the same period last year. Speaking about the achievements of the command and the period under review, the comptroller Bamidele Makinde said 43 trailer loads of foreign parboiled rice, 9 trailer loads of premium motor spirit, more than 1,400 packets of tramadol, more than 250 sacks, and 660 wraps of cannabis sativa and other contraband with more than 3 billion naira duty paid value were seized from the smugglers.
The cumulative duty paid value, DPV, for all the above seizures amounted to 3,400,226,707 naira only. A comparative analysis of the command's performance during the period under review and half year of 2021 is higher than that of last year's record, which was 834 million. That is about 400% increase. The command was able to achieve this due to the following steps. Number one, continuous stakeholders engagement and management. Number two, deployment of intelligence in all operations across the state.
On revenue generation, the comptroller noted that the command recorded a higher figure compared to what was recorded in the same period in year 2021. He also highlighted the command's achievements in revenue generation, anti-smuggling operations, and trade facilitation in the first half of the year.
During the period under review, the command generated a total sum of 29,940,146 naira and 50 kobo from import duties and auction sales of premium motor spirits seized from smugglers. The command will continue to dialogue, engage, sensitize, and educate the public on the social and economic implications of smuggling.
He commended the Controller General of Customs and his management team, custom officers in the state, other security agencies and stakeholders who are providing necessary support for the command, urging them to do more in order to achieve better results. Kazim Olowe, TVC News, Abeokuta.
Many thanks for staying with us. Let's talk politics. The people of Nsukka Senatorial Region have assured Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of total support and loyalty ahead of the Enugu North Senatorial election next year. This was demonstrated after a series of stakeholders meetings held that culminated in a 2-day solidarity visit to the government house in Enugu. Bamidele Ajayi has more.
Political parties have conducted their primaries in Enugu State, just like any other state of the Federation. In the PDP, most of the position contested three up fresh candidates who are getting ready to square up with the opposing parties during the polls. Converge are leaders of our Nsukka Forum, drawn from the 6 local government areas that make up of Enugu North Senatorial Zone. Their mission to the state seat of power is simple: to affirm their support for the leadership of Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, who is holding PDP Enugu North Senatorial ticket.
May I also seize this opportunity to offer our hearty congratulations to our leader on clinching the senatorial ticket of the People's Democratic Party for the Ogun North senatorial zone.
Earlier, stakeholders from Nsukka local government area came in solidarity to support Governor Ugwuanyi's senatorial ambition.
Under Ashwak organization, there's no going back. We have decided that also that we are with you.
The team that has traditional rulers, town union heads, political, youth organizations, and religious leaders took turn to enumerate what Nsukka LGA, like other 16 LGA, benefited from the Governor Ugwuanyi's administration. High point of the solidarity visit was a presentation by traditional masquerade, cultural displays, and dances. The two delegations in unison pledged their total support to ensure Governor Ugwuanyi wins the 2023 Enugu North senatorial election. Bamidele Ajayi, TVC News, Enugu.
Elsewhere, a national stakeholder technical committee meeting on West Africa Coastal Areas Management Program is underway. This is meant to open up discussions on the urgent need for project funding in line with the timely articulation of Nigeria's immediate priorities. The two-day meeting is expected to provide a platform for positive contributions toward ensuring a successful implementation of the WACA program in Nigeria. Kemi Balogun has details.
Nigeria's coastal and marine areas lie on the Atlantic Ocean and border the Gulf of Guinea. It stretches for approximately 853 kilometers and includes 9 states of the Federation. The West Africa Coastal Areas Program is a convening platform that aims to help countries obtain financing and expertise to sustainably manage their coastal areas.
It will also promote productive employment for rural communities and entrepreneurship development, as well as sustainable energy and environmental management.
Up to 5% of GDP. So we're talking about major losses of opportunity, of asset caused by degradation due to coastal erosion, flooding, or pollution, and overall degradation of coastal zones.
It is rather worrisome that we are still not able to kickstart the full implementation of WACA in Nigeria, even when the coastal communities are constantly being predisposed to various environmental hazards.
This technical committee meeting is seeking to provide a room to enable all partners to double their efforts at developing the coastal landscape through the provision of adequate and timely funding for the project implementation.
In Nigeria, we're currently at the stage of developing such plans for potential investments. And I would like to really stress at the beginning of this meeting that for the World Bank at this point, in coordination with the government of Nigeria, there are no identified investment programs under the WACA program.
Environmental Environment, having consulted with other stakeholders, requested in a letter to the Federal Ministry of Finance on the 20th of June 2018 for project preparatory fund of $4,200,000, which is about 2% of the proposed cost of the WACA project. But unfortunately, the PPF is yet to be made available.
The first on-site identification mission took place in November 2016, which was the first move in cementing the partners' continued support to Nigeria. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
And talking education, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, and heads of tertiary education institutions in the country have fixed the minimum cutoff mark for admissions in the 2022-2023 academic session. The minimum cutoff mark for universities is now 140. For polytechnics, it's 100. And for colleges of education, it's also 100. JAMB Registrar Professor Ishak Oloyede announced this at the policy meeting on admissions presided over by the Minister of Education, Adamu, in Abuja. Professor Oloyede, however, said each institution has the right to fix its own cutoff mark, even up to 220, but no one would be allowed to go less than the agreed minimum marks. The meeting also called for the review of admission criteria to give 10% discretional power of admission to heads of tertiary institutions. In Oyo State, controversy has continued to trail the alleged abuse of a 14-year-old student of Federal Government Girls College, FGGC Oyo, by her teacher. While some concerned Nigerians are calling for proper investigation of the matter, all students of the investigation have assured parents of the victim that justice will be served. Olaide Oyewole reports.
Some concerned Nigerians and parents raised an alarm over alleged abuse of female students of Federal Government Girls College Oyo in Oyo State by some teachers. The parents backed the allegation of constant sexual abuse at the school with a petition to the state chapter of the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ. The petition particularly raised concern over alleged sexual abuse of a 14-year-old student at the school by one of the teachers who was said to have had carnal knowledge of the minor. Following this development, the chairperson of NAWOJ in the state said such case should not be swept under the carpet. She insisted that justice must prevail to serve as a deterrent to other teachers who are fond of such acts.
We did not only speak out, we reached out to some federal agencies after our press conference. What were our demands? One, that the principal of the school be suspended so that the investigation can be done properly. Because so long she's there, if this incident has been happening since 2012, and you're a woman and you're a principal, you should have raised an alarm or ensure that persons involved are exposed. But the 14-year-old girl that was recently abused, the thing happened for 2 weeks, the parents were not informed.
TVC News also spoke with members of the Old Students Association of the school, who assured the parents and Nigerians that the police have begun investigation into the matter.
We are looking into it. Something is going to be done. We support justice. It can never be swept under the carpet. And at the end of the day, everybody will be happy. Things will come out. The truth will come out.
And so we, the old girls, are also part and parcel of this. We are very much in touch with the principal, with the staff, and with the girls. And we are doing all we can. And everybody worldwide, not just in Nigeria alone, all the girls worldwide, the old girls, we are really putting in place things to make sure that there is no reoccurrence.
The State Police Command, through its spokesperson, Adewale Osifeso, said investigation is ongoing and promised to give updates in due course. Olaide Oyewole, TVC News, Ibadan.
Now to food security. Wheat farmers from 6 northwestern states converged on Kano to celebrate their harvest. The farmers also met to discuss ways of improving wheat production in the coming years in a bid to mitigate import. Ibrahim Isa reports.
A huge number of Nigeria's more than 200 million people rely heavily on nutritious foods derived from wheat. But only about 1% of the wheat consumed in Nigeria is produced within the country. The low production of wheat can be attributed to a lack of quality seeds and proper training of the farmers. Wheat farmers from northwestern states of Sokoto, Jigawa, Bauchi, Kaduna, and Kebbi converge on Kano under the supervision of Flour Milling Association of Nigeria, FMAN, to recognize their handwork and successes recorded during the 2021-2022 farming season. Some of the wheat farmers, both male and female, harvested 3.2 tons to 7 tons per hectare.
I
am used to harvesting 40 bags of wheat, but I am gradually improving because I harvested 45 bags this year using new technology.
Before I farm on half a hectare, but this time around I got a full hectare of land. I got 20 bags of wheat before, but now I harvested 40 bags. I am improving.
Mitigating the importation of wheat into Nigeria is one of the targets of these farmers. They are strengthening cooperation with the Flour Milling Association to achieve their aim of producing massive local content.
The highest yielding farmer harvested about 7 tons per hectare, and there are so many others that harvested up to 6 tons, others 5 tons, and a lot of 4 tons. So what this indicates is that with a little push, the average could even go higher than the 3 tons we got. And this is the shot in the arm that we need to meet the current challenges.
Both the farmers and flour millers are hopeful that meeting like this would promote high yields and profitability, which would in turn contribute to the nation's goal of achieving self-sufficiency and improving food security. Ibrahim Isa, TVC News, Kano.